and welcome to today's weekly live show here inside the Yoga Teacher Collaborative. If you are here live, welcome. If you are doing the replay, welcome. Thank you for being here. If you're new or you've not been here for a while, my name is Laura Green. I am a yoga teacher, a teacher trainer, and a business mentor in Southampton, Hampshire, with a mission to help yoga teachers thrive by teaching the best we very well can and learning what we need to about business and marketing so we can take the wonders of yoga far and wide. Today's training is on sequencing. So it's taking a little pause on some of our business and looking at inspiring ourselves in sequencing our yoga classes. I know certainly for me, as it comes to the end of the year, I need a little bit of a fill up on my inspiration tank when it comes to class planning and class sequencing. So I hope this will give you a little bit of inspiration to tie you through to your next break as well. So today, as I said, we're exploring how to sequence through the Meridian Lines, but you could also apply this to the nadis or sen lines as well. So what are the Meridian Lines? What are we talking about? And why might you want to sequence your yoga classes in this way? So for me, I certainly find as a yoga teacher that my students love to learn. Yes, they love to do yoga, but they really value learning about the philosophy of yoga, learning about the human anatomy, learning about the energy body. And I think making our classes educational really elevates the value of them as well. And we are in a time when people are concerned about money. People are wanting to get the most they can from where they spend their money. And layering in educational content to your yoga classes will really help your students experience that value for money. I like to mix this up. Some weeks we will just enjoy really being in our yoga, really going inwards, connecting with that sense of self and just doing yoga. And then other weeks really bringing in some educational content. And I find that variety works so well for my students, and it keeps your students really loyal and continually coming back to you because they want to know, what am I going to learn next week? Rather than next week just being the same class as the week before and the same and the same and the same. If they know there's educational content, it keeps them coming back week in, week out over years. And trust me, I've been teaching for nearly 13 years, and a lot of my students have been with me all that time because we keep growing and learning and evolving together. And then what's great for you as a yoga teacher is if there's something you want to learn more about, teach. There's a great way I start to learn more is through teaching, exploring with my students, getting their feedback. So it really is a win-win on that route. So this is something you can explore more yourself. You can take a little bit of inspiration. You can learn more with me, and you can learn with your students. And that is about your energy body. Really quick basic recap. We know that in yoga, we talk about our energy body. We talk about our prana, our sacred life force energy. But actually, I find a lot of students are more familiar with the term qi, as in from traditional Chinese medicine. I think because of the prevalence of acupuncture, acupressure, tai chi, qigong, I think it's talked around a lot more. So prana and qi really being a very similar concept of the flow of energy in the body. And I love to explain this to my students as well. And my love of following the energy lines has come from being a time masseuse practitioner, where we do a lot of line work, moving energy along lines. And this is what I share with my students. So when you are sharing things about the energy body with your students, it's really important to know what you're passionate about and know what they're interested in as well. I always say that there are 4 student archetypes. And these 4 student archetypes are likely to be in all classes. And you want to explain your subject matter when you're talking about something like the energy body in a way that can be accessible to the 4 archetypes. So what are the 4 student archetypes? This is a gross simplification, but it is helpful to think about. The 4 student archetypes. 1, you have the athlete. They simply want to do yoga to get stronger, do yoga to get more flexible, really in that physical body place. Then you have 2, the student archetype of the engineer. Now they want to understand, they want to connect with the science, the rationale, the understanding behind what you're doing. Student archetype number 3 is the mystic. They want to speak about magic, the unseen, the energy. They're right there with you in the energy body. And then you have the archetype 4, which I am, and I bet a lot of you are as well. And archetype 4 is the greedy guts. They want all of it. They want the poetry, they want the unseen, they want the mystical, they want to understand what's happening in their physical body, and they want to feel the effects of their yoga as well. So when you're taking a more esoteric topic, such as the energy body, the meridian lines, chi, prana, you want to explain it in a way that is authentic to yourself, but also explain it in a way that is open to those 4 archetypes. So this is how I might explain the energy body. So I say things such as, today we're going to be exploring your energy body. We're going to be refreshing, renewing, and revitalizing your energy. So giving someone immediately that, what is this going to do for you? I'm getting buy-in. Okay, so this is going to refresh, renew, revitalize your energy. Would you like to do that with me? Yes. Then once you've got that buy-in, you can go and explore the subject matter in a little bit more detail. So how do we refresh, renew, revitalize your energy? Well, we know we have the flow of what we call in yoga, prana, the energy. But today we're going to explore this through the view of traditional Chinese medicine, where it's called qi. And in both yoga and traditional Chinese medicine, there is this concept. And again, I'm saying concept. So that is letting that be broad. You know, for those who really tangibly believe in the existence of the meridian lines, or for those that feel it's a lovely metaphor for considering the human expression. So there is a concept of energy flowing through a network of channels and pathways in our body. Then great if you can use visual imagery so someone can connect with that. Like imagine a country. A country has rivers, streams, and tributaries that are distributing the flow of water, hydrating our beautiful land. Now imagine that inside you. A network of rivers, streams, and tributaries taking the energy throughout your body. Okay? So concept, briefly explained, given a visual. And then you can go into it in more detail and make space for the different archetypes. So you can say things like, some people really do believe in these networks of channels in their body and can feel the movement of energy, and that's amazing. Other people like to take this as a metaphor of the human existence, and that's amazing. And there are also scientists that are hypothesizing that maybe these networks of channels in our body are connected lines of fascia, and that is amazing. Whatever level you wish to connect with this subject matter today is amazing. So making that accessible to all rather than kind of pushing my belief, my dogma, and letting it be accessible. So then once we've done that, just a little bit of information for you in case you're less familiar with the meridian lines. So network of rivers, of energy pathways in our body. And in yoga, these are called nadis. But in traditional Chinese medicine, the concept developed at a very similar time of meridian lines. And there are many energy pathways, meridian lines, nadis in your body. Some are more major, like major rivers, and some are more minor, like small tributaries. But they are taking the energy to every aspect of our body. In traditional Chinese medicine, there are 12 major meridian lines. And each of these meridian lines is connected with a physical, physiological need of our body, connected with an associated organ, and also connected with emotions, the more surface level emotions, and then an undercurrent of deeper emotions. And when we move our body, we're helping energy to move and flow, and we can connect with these lines. I want to explore just two of these pathways with you today. So we're going to explore the lung meridian line and the heart meridian line. So the next step I'm going to do with you, and would be exactly the same as I do with my students, is to get them to really visually connect with the line. And the visual connection with our body is important for all. We know people struggle with proprioception. As soon as you use your eyes to see where your body is in space, you're making a different connection. So I want to make that visual connection with the flow of the meridian lines first. So I'll say to my students, and do this with me now, just coming back a bit so you can see. So having your hands resting on your legs, I'm just extending mine out so you can see. I'd love you to look at your left hand. And as you look at your left hand, you'll see the lines on the palm of your hand. You may even see some of your veins in there, networks that carry the fluid of our blood, our oxygen throughout our body. Then looking at that left hand, let your gaze follow it up to your left inner arm, to your left elbow, up through your left upper arm and shoulder. Then looking across your chest, the actual home of our lungs and our heart. Looking to the other side, see the shoulder flowing down through your arm, wrist and fingers. And simply seeing that this connection of hand to wrist to arm to shoulder across your chest and down, and connecting these as lines of energy. Then once someone's visually looked at it, I'll get them to physically touch and follow that line. Okay, so we're going to start by following the lung line. So you're going to bring your right hand and find your collarbones. And you know your lungs actually come up this high. So I'm talking to the scientists now. The top lobes of the lungs finish just beneath your collarbone. So as you walk across your collarbone, walking across the very top of your lungs, then this energy pathway associated with the lungs comes down over your shoulder, down over the top side of the arm, walking down with me and coming to the top of your thumb. Then I'd love you to slide your hand back up that line, across your shoulder, your collarbone, bring both hands to connect, and then swapping sides, follow down the collarbone, down the arm to the thumb. And then I bring us into a meditation. So breathing with me, inhale, that energy flowing up the arm, swapping sides, and exhale down. Now continuing to flow with this, as my students are doing this meditation, it's where you can drip in more information. So that beautiful surface level emotion of the lung being connected with inspiration. But we have undercurrent emotions connected with the meridian lines, emotions that we want to cleanse. And the undercurrent emotion of the lungs is grief. Now that can feel quite hard to process to begin with. But think about when you are grieving and you cry so much, you sob and your lungs start to spasm. And it can store that residue. And cleansing the energy, letting it flow. Then next time you come down to the thumb on your right side, just pause there. And now we're going to connect with your heart meridian line. It flows in a very similar way. Bring yourself to touch the little finger edge of your hand, just connecting there. So this is where the heart meridian line finishes, right here in this little finger. Sliding up, comes across the palm of the hand where we have this heart mama point, this energetic point where we can feel into heart energy. It's why we shake hands. And sliding up the bottom inside of the arm, and then up into the armpit where this line starts. And then stroking across to your heart, that place of love and kindness, over down through the other armpit, down the side of the arm to the little finger. And then just continuing this. Connecting with your breath. Bringing new prana energy in with your breath. Thinking of the wonders of your heart, how it takes your blood, your oxygen through networks in your body. Good, and then next time you come over to that right hand, finishing there. And relax the hands down. So this is how you begin to explore this with your students. Start with an open, this is a concept, talking to that athlete, mystique, engineer, and greedy guts. Then start to visually see where these meridian lines are. As I said, we've done heart and lung today. And then this moving meditation where you're getting someone to physically stroke along a line. So getting a really tactile way of connecting with this. And then you can start to bring that into movements. Once they've really seen and felt, what is the next logical movement? It's going to be something like an arm up and over, where you can feel that meridian line move and then connect with the associated organ. So breathing deep into that right hand lung. So to be working with the energy body, it needs intention. It's not just enough to say, a yoga pose stimulates the flow of energy down this meridian line. It doesn't really if you don't have awareness, breath, intention with it. So then you start to think, what are the movements that open and stretch and expand across that energy? And can you move them fluidly with the breath? Because we know energy wants to move, to flow. So then you can sequence your whole yoga class around these movements that connect with that body part. And you can come into movements you know really well and your students are familiar with, such as, say, for instance, a warrior two. And then you can give them the opportunity to explore it differently. So rather than always taking that static warrior two, say, okay, so we're going to continue to work with the heart and the lung meridian line. So as you hold this warrior two, as you inhale, rotate your hands skywards, open up the chest. Then exhale, rotating the hands back, roll the shoulders in. Now continue as a meditation with your breath. Inhale, open, expand, stretch through that heart and lung line. Exhaling in. So you can really start to bring variety into some of those yoga poses that they're super familiar with and get your students to experience connect in a different way. Now, another way I love to work with the meridian lines is that many of the meridian lines have a connected sound with them. If you're more familiar with the chakra system, think about how the chakras have different sounds that radiate and vibrate with the energy frequency of that part. Same here in traditional Chinese medicine, the meridian lines, different organs have different sounds. That vibration is said to cleanse, clear, massage that energy line. And all of these work really well in a form like the bee breath. So you can remind your students of the bee breath, you know, where we go inhale. So that bee breath, and how many times have your students made the bee breath? Give them some variety. So the sound connected with the lung meridian line and the lungs is a zzz. So do this with me. Don't make me do it on my own. That'd be weird. So this is a sound of the lungs. You can take a big inhale, like bee breath, and then make a zzz sound. So inhale. Good, so you can take that as a pranayama, a breath and meditation, like the bee breath. And what's so amazing about these is how well they lengthen the exhale. So if you say to your students, inhale for the count of 4 and exhale for 10, they might find that quite hard. But as soon as you start to give them a sound like the bee breath or the zzz, start to count the length of their exhale. And you'll notice it's much easier around 15, 16, 17, even 20 length count. And we know when we lengthen that exhale, all of that work on the parasympathetic nervous system, that relaxation response. And on top of that, when we're making sound, we're stimulating the vagus nerve, which is also working with the parasympathetic nervous system to bring rest. So introduce those sounds. So zzz is the sound of the lung meridian line. Obviously, we've been working with the heart meridian line as well today, and that is the sound of ha. So again, you can do it just like the B breath, inhaling. Ha. I'm just going to cut that short there so I don't go on too long. But again, you know that long exhale, that vibration of the vagus nerve. You can put it as a pranayama, you can put it as a meditation, but why not put it into movement as well? So let's come back to that warrior two that I was just showing you there. You know, the arms expanding, you can even try palm up so you can feel that openness of the heart and lung meridian line. Then you could inhale, lifting up, and vibrate those sounds as you come down. Let's do the heart one again. Oh, you could alternate, inhale up, I can come to the lung one. This is bringing so much variety and new information for your students, new ways of connecting with things they're really familiar with. So what have we looked at? We've looked at the student archetypes of athlete, engineer, mystic, greedy guts, and making sure that how we introduce more esoteric topics such as the energy body, we make accessible using things like this is a concept. You might really physically connect with this. You might find it an interesting metaphor. Okay? Sharing your own connections. I'll often say, I'm a Thai masseuse. I have seen and felt the benefits of working with these energy lines in the body. You can share your personal passion, but still let the concepts be open. Then we spoke about how you start to get people to visually connect with the lines, see, Then moving meditations when they're touching, stroking across these lines. And then how you can focus on yoga poses that move those lines of the body, bringing variety into everyday yoga shapes. Then how you might mix up that Brahmari B breath by using the appropriate sound, and also visualizations as well. If you've got a lot of scientists type, engineer type in your class, you can give them away. I did one of my classes yesterday to connect with this idea of fluid and energy flowing in channels in the body by saying things like, imagine your blood, how it flows through channels in the body, taking energy, nutrients, oxygen. And then you have your lymphatic system, the lymph fluid that flows through your body through movement. It doesn't have a pump. Your lymphatic system needs you to move. And then the synovial fluid in your body that is lubricating your joints. So then, as I'm talking about working with the energy body and the meridian lines, renewing, revitalizing, invigorating energy, I can give my scientists, my engineers, a same way into that. Your movement is helping your lymphatic fluid. It is helping your synovial fluid. We're refreshing, renewing, hydrating parts of your body through movement. So everyone has a way of accessing this. So I hope you found this brief introduction helpful. Any questions, type them in the chat. This is exactly what we cover in yin training, because yin yoga is a lot about moving the energy through the body. So I've got my online yin training coming up in December. I'll put a link. And then next year I'm doing a full 5-week course on yoga and the meridian lines. So if you want to learn about more of them, just stay tuned and that course will come up soon. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to know what you think. Better yet, I'd love to know if you bring this into your class anytime soon. Much love to you. I probably won't see you next Friday. I'm going to Morocco next Friday for my hubby's birthday, but I'll check in soon if possible. Thank you for today. Have a lovely weekend. Much love to you.